With Josh Ward, I'm Brian Rice for Sports Radio WNML.com. Tennessee a 24-10 winner over Southern Miss this evening. Josh, Tennessee did it. The defense with one score, they set up another. It's really what you needed to happen on a night that Jared Garantano goes down in the middle of the game.
Tennessee needed a big W tonight and got a win against Southern Miss. Tennessee, it had a lot of issues going in, we knew, on the offensive side, and those issues really grew as the game went along with the injury to Jarrett Garantano, injuries on the offensive line, guys getting beaten up during the game. Marquez Callaway goes out. So you add those to the problems Tennessee's offense has already had. The Tennessee defense needed to step up, and it did. Those turnovers that were there against Kentucky were there again tonight against Southern Miss, and that helped Tennessee's offense.
Southern Miss with a better than expected defense for who they are as a program. I think that's obvious. But Tennessee not able to run the ball as effectively really came into play in the second half, that you had to step up. That defense had to step up. You had to make some plays on special teams, Trevor Daniel included.
Right. If Tennessee's defense doesn't make those plays, those turnovers to put Tennessee's offense in a position where it can score more easily, a touchdown and a field goal, the game could have turned out differently. Tennessee probably still wins the game, but it would have been tighter late and would have been more challenging for Tennessee to get the win. So the Tennessee defense, it's not perfect. It will be challenged next week against Missouri, but over the last few weeks, Tennessee's defense has done enough in a lot of games to help Tennessee's offense. It did enough, I thought, against Kentucky. Tennessee's offense just didn't capitalize. 9 points off 4 turnovers. 10 points off a couple of turnovers is better. Tennessee's offense still has work to do, but there are also so many limitations that there's only so much you can expect out of Tennessee's offense. That's why it's almost, I think, required that Tennessee's defense helps out the offense every game.
I think the first half was kind of a microcosm of the season. Evan Berry's back. Long kick return sets up Tennessee's first score, and then Evan Berry's out with a different injury, calling it an upper body injury rather than the lower body injury that kept him out the first part of the year.
Yeah, that's a real shame, too, because he's missed so much time this year, and maybe Evan would have been able to help Tennessee at different times. Now, there have been a lot of times where there were no kick return opportunities based on the teams that they were facing and touchbacks that they kicked. But you saw in that first kick return from Evan Berry, we're reminded, you knew before, but reminded of what difference he can make with the football in his hands. So his senior year, obviously he would have liked it to have gone better than it has, and it's unfortunate. We'll see what happens with him in the rest of his senior season.
Coming up next week, Missouri coming into this game with Tennessee, hammered Florida today. Going to have to go toe-to-toe with them, score for score. Tennessee's defense, no matter how well they played, nobody's had a lot of success trying to stop Missouri, especially early. What can Tennessee do? What do they have to do to get ready to go face the Tigers next week?
I'll repeat it. I think Tennessee's defense has to make plays, and Kendall Vickers, Tennessee's senior defensive tackle, he knows how Missouri's offense operates and talked about the speed that it's able to run with. And it can run the football. It did against Florida. And, of course, can throw the football with Drew Lock at quarterback. And Missouri also probably had a mental hurdle it needed to get over, and beating Florida the way that it did helped. Now, I think Florida probably laid down in a lot of ways in that game. But to Missouri, it looks at it and says, we just whipped Florida. Why shouldn't we be able to do that in a night game at home against Tennessee? So Tennessee's offense, it's going to have to try to keep up. That's why I think the defense is going to have to help.
Break down Tennessee Southern Miss and Tennessee Missouri all week long on Sports Radio WNML and SportsRadioWNML.com. Look forward to joining you from 6 until 7, all-day coverage on Monday on Sports Radio WNML. For Josh Ward, I'm Brian Rice. We'll see you then.